Well, Catherine Herridge has been looking into these attackers. You're saying the three of them that were involved, at least we are told, in the Brussels airport attack, especially the two on the right, I'm sorry, on the left, who blew themselves up. Catherine, what's the latest?
Well, that photo of these three suspects from the airport this morning was released by Belgian authorities. And certainly what has my attention is the two men on the left. And if you look closely where they're holding those luggage carts, what you can see there is they're both wearing black gloves as they hold the rail to the cart. And then the other hand is gloveless. Now, that could be evidence of what's called a dead man's switch. What that means is that the trigger for the device, for the belt, is essentially based on the pressure of holding onto that handle of the luggage cart. It means that if the individual is shot and taken down by police and they lose that grip on the cart, that will be sufficient to detonate the device. That's why it's called a dead man's trigger. So that's what has my attention there this morning. And then also the individual on the right, which the Belgian authorities believe is at large. In order to use something like a dead man's switch and then to also have at least 2 suicide vests and possibly other devices at that airport really speaks again to a broader conspiracy and a fairly experienced bomb maker to make the devices without having any incidents, losing a finger or a hand, and then also being able to transport them, because the type of explosive that's been used most recently in the Paris attacks and may well have been used here is something called TATP, which you can buy the components over the counter to make it. That's the good news for terrorists, but the bad news is that it's highly unstable and it's hard to handle and it's hard to move without avoiding some kind of accident, Neil.
The third guy in this image, in the brighter coat and the hat, do we know, obviously he didn't die, at least didn't detonate himself. Do we know his whereabouts or what they think,
We don't.
or where they think he could have gone?
The Belgian authorities are looking at least for that suspect in connection to the attacks, and then the two, we believe, they're on the left holding the carts, were the two bombers. Within the last hour, Neil, we also had a statement of responsibility from ISIS. I have it here, from something called the Amaq News Agency. The Amaq News Agency is part of their official propaganda wing, and they basically make it their business after these horrific events to draw that direct line between a terrorist attack and ISIS proper. They made that kind of link after the Paris attacks in November, praising them. They made the same kind of link after San Bernardino in December, and then they've also made this link today. But what's noteworthy is that they talk about multiple suicide bombers as well as devices, not only at the airport, but also on the subway station. Again, the number of belts and additional devices speaks to a broader conspiracy. It speaks to a somewhat experienced bomb maker. And my contacts are telling me this morning that the working theory of investigators is that this plot to attack the airport and the subway system was already in the pipeline, but after the arrest Friday of the Paris suspect, Salah Abdeslam, the timeline was moved up. They sort of pushed forward their deadline for fear that if they didn't use what they had, they would lose it because of what he was telling investigators.
Incredible. Catherine, thank you very, very much. And
you're welcome.
To Catherine's point, the Islamic State says it isn't done, that there will be black days in return for aggression against it.